Good evening, America, and thanks for joining us tonight on Fun Facts News. My name is Jaylene Duddy.
And I'm Lenora Stewart. Tonight we are going to dive into the controversial topic of who has the biggest effect on Congress, the public interest versus special interest groups. Special interest groups definitely have more effect on Congress because they help campaign leaders who have similar beliefs, and in return, that leader helps to create rules, regulations, or laws to support that special interest group.
Good point, Lenora. On the other hand, polling the public opinion is also very effective. Many people believe that the politicians listen to the polls because of the theory of delegate representation, which assumes the politician is in office to be the voice of the people. Others believe polling has increased because politicians, like the president, are in permanent campaign mode, and to continue contributing money, supporters must remain happy and convinced the politician is listening to them.
Let's explore my side for a little, then get back to you, Jaylene. Recently, I have seen news about two special interest groups that have caught viewers' attention: the NRA and NRL. Each have recently had their own impact on decisions that Congress has made.
Go ahead. Let's hear about some of these special interest groups.
The NRA is a group that advocates for gun rights, informs people about firearm bills, teaches firearm competency and safety, and endorses candidates. They are one of the most significant donors to political campaigns each year, contributing $2,700 per cycle to each candidate. But the political influence is far beyond the cash for direct campaigning. The NRA has donated $4 million the past 18 years to Congress, plus $10,000 yearly to state and local parties. As most parties have a limit to how much they donate, individuals of the NRA are committed to donating their own portion to Congress to help gain the support back. Furthermore, the advice from the leaders of the NRA has a significant effect on how their numerous members vote. The more people they have registered to vote for them, the better their chances of getting that rule, regulation, or law passed. The NRA also has their activists write letters, emails, and make phone calls to Congress when facing gun-related legislation. And finally, it has its own super PAC, which runs their own political campaign by advertising on television, radio, and through mail.
I hear you, but I don't think you're aware of how big of an impact the opinions of the public have on Congress. The reason why candidates campaign is to get votes. Like I said before, the reason for them being in office is to be the voice of the people. Smart politicians poll the public in order to learn what the public desires and what will keep them happy, which in turn keeps the money rolling in. Even if the elected official does not consistently act in compliance with the polls, he or she can mollify everyone by explaining the reason behind the vote. Individually, if presidents have enough public support, they use their level of public approval indirectly as a way to get their agenda passed. Presidents may also use their popularity to ask the public to act. For example, in October of 2015, following a shooting at a community college in Oregon, President Obama gave a short speech from the West Wing of the White House. After offering his condolences and prayers to the community, he remarked that prayers and condolences were no longer enough, and he called on citizens to push Congress for a change in gun control laws. President Obama had proposed gun control reform following the 2012 shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut, but it did not pass in Congress. This time, the president asked citizens to use gun control as a voting issue and push for a reform via the ballot box.
Yes, I agree. The people do have a big part in the decisions that Congress make, but these special interest groups have a larger impact. The special interest groups are speaking up and trying to force what they think is right upon the people. They have thousands of people involved in their groups and millions of dollars to make things happen. Let's not forget, they have greater access to the attention of Congress than the people. Let's look at my next special interest group, for example. The NRL, which stands for National Right to Life, is a group that works to restore legal protection for those who are threatened by abortion, infanticide, and assisted suicide. Their main goal is to protect and defend the most fundamental right of mankind, the right of life for every innocent human being from birth to natural death. They help members of Congress pay to campaign as long as they agree to help them create laws that protect people's lives. Just like the NRA, they also write letters to Congress informing them about abortion issues and suicides. Recently, Judge Gorsuch had made an agreement to support the NRL in their fight of pro-life. His sentence to becoming a judge took time because the interest group who is pro-choice tried hard to make him seem like an unqualified nominee, simply because he is pro-life. Now his confirmation is soon to come, and he will be supporting the NRL in full.
Understandable. On the contrary, but in a similar case, the public is not perfectly informed about politics, so politicians realize public opinion may not always be the right choice. Also, the collective public opinion of a country changes over time. Interestingly, James Simpson's prominent study found the public's mood or collective opinion can become more or less liberal from decade to decade. While the initial study on public mood revealed that the economy has a profound effect on American opinion. Individually, of course, politicians cannot predict what will happen in the future or who will oppose them in the next few elections. They can look to see where the public is in agreement as a body. If public mood changes, the politicians may change their positions to match the public mood. In some instances, presidents may appear to directly consider public opinion before acting or making decisions. In 2013, President Obama announced that he was considering a military strike on Syria in reaction to the Syrian government's illegal use of Syrian gas on its own citizens. Despite agreeing that this chemical attack on the suburbans was a war crime, the public was against U.S. involvement. 48% of respondents said they opposed airstrikes, and only 29% were in favor. Democrats were especially in disagreement with military intervention. President Obama changed his mind and ultimately allowed Russian President Vladimir Putin to negotiate Syria's surrender of its chemical weapons. While presidents have at most only 2 terms to serve and work, members of Congress can serve as long as the public returns them to office. We might think, for this reason, public opinion is important to representatives and senators, and that their behavior, such as their votes on domestic programs or funding, will change to match the expectations of the public. For example, if voters want the legislator to vote for legalizing marijuana, the legislator should vote to legalize marijuana. Legislators, or candidates who believe in delegate representation, poll the public before an important vote comes up for debate in order to learn what the public desires them to do to keep them in office and everyone happy.
Well said, Jaylene. This time, we're going to have to agree to disagree, because that's all the time we have, folks. I'm Lenora Stewart.
And I'm Jaylene Duddy. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week on
Fun Facts News.